Hello, welcome to Simply Tarot. This is Leslie Lee, and today we're going to be talking about how you could love yourself, how you learn to love your flaws or the things that you don't really like about you. I'm using the Druidcraft Tarot today, and I'll place 6 cards to do a 6-card reading. I'll also place one of my guidance tarot to get an overall message for you. So, here we go. Okay, so here we are. Excuse me, my voice is kind of not cooperating. But also I was compelled to pull 2 of the guidance tarot. So I think you have 2 messages for this subject. So let's get into it instead of wasting time talking about nonsense. Okay. So I do see a 9 of Cups and a 10 of Swords. These 2 cards. To me, this represents that you're at the end of this situation. The overall sense is the 7 of Pentacles. Now what this suggests is that you're learning to accept the things about you that you can't change. Some of the things that you believe are flaws, either you're in that process, you're learning to, and you're trying to figure out the way to accept what it is that you don't like about you, but that it's either taking a while to get to that, or you're going to begin this process, because the 10 of Swords talks about the ending of something coming to a completion, and it allows other doors to open, other things to come through, other new beginnings to start, that sort of thing. But just intuitively connecting with these cards, I get a sense from this that one of your problems, one of the issues with yourself is your body. You have probably a negative body image. There's probably something about something about you that you feel isn't good enough. One of your issues with this is that you have a hard time seeing the beauty. You have a hard time seeing the beauty in yourself. And I think you feel like others judge you for your flaw. It could be a flaw with your body. I do see for most of you that is the case. But it also could be other things. The way you speak, you're not happy about that. I get that with these 2. The messages, the way you communicate, the things you say, the things you don't say, the way you sound, the words you use. You may feel like you're not as educated. You may feel like when you speak you sound, dumb, or like you don't know what you're talking about. You may feel that other people can't understand you. These are some of the things that could be coming up with you, that it's part of the reason why you feel this way. You feel other people judge you. Excuse me. Other people are looking at your flaws. Other people are looking at you as if you were your flaw. Obviously, I think this has to do with an insecurity of yours, because I do not feel that this is the case for all of you. I do feel some of your issues is also to do with emotions. The 9 of Cups represents that. You don't you don't like the way your emotions come off. Either you seem too angry to other people, or you seem too reserved or too shy, or maybe you are too emotional. You laugh at, like the weirdest jokes, or at the worst times, or you cry too much, or that sort of thing. I see that. I see a lot of this playing out. And one of the things, since this is the card that represents the overall, is that you need to learn to accept it. Now that's the issue, isn't it? If it was so simple to accept, then it wouldn't be a problem. We could just move through life and not forget our flaws. Like it wouldn't hold us back. Some people seem like they can do that. For some people it does. It seems like that no matter what issues they may have, it seems like they are the perfect person, and that they never have anything to complain about, and everything about them is just great. Obviously that's not the case, because I do have a feeling, I do believe in the fact that everybody, there's at least one thing someone doesn't like about themselves. So knowing that this is part of the issue, we're gonna now try to figure out how to get past this. Let's see what the guidance cards have to say. So this first one says communicate, open up all facets. The second one, bask, absorb the energy around you. Now what I'm getting with this, with the bask card, they want you to just live among your flaws as if they were your strengths. Bask in it. It makes you unique. That's who you are. It makes you different than other people. Whatever your flaws are, whatever you perceive to be your flaws. Sometimes people are actually looking at you and admiring you for how different you are, for the thing that you don't like, they like, for the thing that make you stand out, that make you unique, that makes you an individual. And the card is just reminding you that there are things to celebrate about yourself. So instead of focusing on the things you don't like or your flaws, what's something you like about yourself? Like, what's something that you like to show other people? What's something you're proud of? What's something something that even when you're alone, you tell yourself, well, at least I have this. That's the energy that should be felt among your strengths, your flaws, and everything in between. You should have that sense of, well, at least I am this way, because there's no other one like me. If I didn't have this, I wouldn't be me. If I didn't do it this way, then how special would I be? I would be just like everyone else. And that's one of the things we need to remember, because, of course I'm not perfect, and of course I have flaws, and of course I have insecurities. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this topic, because I really do believe a lot of us have moments where we don't love ourselves. And in fact, when we hate ourselves, and some of those moments are in times of failure. I see this here. In times of where you feel like your best didn't get you far enough. And then what do? We sit back and then we wonder, okay, what is it about me that, didn't get me to where I want to be? Or I put in all this hard work. Why aren't I seeing the results? Or I've done so much right. I've done so much good. I've done so much. When is my karmic return, going to get here? When am I going to get my success and my rewards? And then you start looking at what it could have been that made you fail, or that made them not pick you, or that made you lose that contest, or that made you, lose a friend, or so forth. You always look at you as like, so is the problem me? Am I the problem? Is it my communication? Was that not good enough? Is it the way I look, the way I dress? What this card is telling you is that you should just bask in the beauty that is being individual. You should take it in and soak it up in it, because that is part of you. That makes you you. Some people actually like that part of you. Have you considered that? Because this shows me you haven't. This shows me that you don't want to see the flaws as strengths. And that's okay. Sometimes it'll take a minute to get over something like this, and sometimes you never get over it. You just learn to live with it. But it's almost like a coping mechanism. But I think the better you could learn to live with it is when others confirm that, I love your hair. Why don't you love your hair? I love hair like that. I wish I had hair like that. That's the kind of sense I'm getting with that. Like, they see your beauty. Why don't you? But I know it's a tough process. And for me, being a woman, there's societal standards put on us that we should look a certain way, we should sound a certain way, we should act a certain way, we should be a certain way. And sometimes that is kind of ingrained, and it's kind of passed down through generations, and it just lingers. And then we never feel good enough. But as soon as you open your eyes and you see your flaws for what they are, just little parts of you that makes you who you are, then I think you will open up. You start slowly to open up to, actually loving yourself. The next card I have is communicate. Open up all facets. I think this is telling you that first, communicate with yourself. Learn, okay, whatever your flaws are, ask yourself. Take time for yourself. Look in the mirror, or speak, or whatever your flaw is, face it. And then ask yourself. Talk to yourself. Have a conversation with yourself and say, what is it about you that I don't like? And be honest with yourself. Get the truth from yourself. Okay, I don't like my skin. Why? Well, because the stretch marks. Why is that a problem for you? Because I fear that other people will judge me on that. Why do you fear that? Why should that matter? Like, keep having this conversation with yourself, and by the time you get to the end, you'll open up some, insight, some realization that maybe having stretch marks isn't the end of the world. Maybe you should accept that flaw and look at it as, experience. This is showing others that you are a mother, that you are, that you had given birth, that you are caring for a child, or you've been through that experience, or you have, had issues with your health, and that you are aware of it, and that you are getting over it, and that you can have the knowledge and the wisdom to pass on. Like, that's what all this experiences end up being, is experiences that teach us a lesson, and lessons that we could share with others, with our children, with the next generation, with others, people that are seeking this information. Like, there's reasons for everything you go through. And if you communicate with yourself, you could get to the very reason why it is you don't feel like you could accept that flaw. And then once you realize that it's basically because, you're afraid other people will judge you, then you could work on that. You could work on, maybe if your skin isn't perfect, if it's blemished on your arms and you always wear long sleeve shirts and, or jackets, well, you could start little by little, shortening your sleeves, rolling up your sleeves, wearing 3/4 sleeves. Every month, switch it up until you get to the point where you could go sleeveless and you won't care, because you will look at those blemishes as, this is me, take it or leave it. And that will empower you, that will empower others, that will inspire others too. Once they see that you've accepted what you believe to be your flaw, you become so much stronger. You become an inspiration. You become probably a lot of what they wish they could be. And then who knows, you might have the knowledge and the ability to help them with their flaws. Okay. We'll put this away and we'll do the gemstone reading real quick to see if there's any additional messages for those who need to learn to love themselves, for those struggling to love themselves. Okay. Just give me a second, let me take a look. Okay. Alright, the first message I get is that you need to nurture yourself. You need to, when I say nurture, I mean take care of yourself as if you were a delicate flower or a delicate rose petal. Be gentle with yourself and your feelings, because at a time like this, when you feel like there's just certain things about yourself you just do not love, this is the best time to be gentle and caring with yourself. I also see with this gemstone right here, for some of you, it would be best to just take that leap of faith. That's what this is telling you. That you, let me see this way. Yeah, that you need to just go for it. Face it. Just step right out there. One day wake up and say, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? If I show my blemished arms, what's the worst that can happen? Someone will stare at me. Someone will laugh at me. Someone will walk away from me. Just think the worst and then prepare yourself for that. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but if you're prepared, you're ready for it just in case. And then guess what? You're going to put on that sleeveless shirt and you're just going to take that leap of faith and walk out those doors and don't care. You don't care. You want to know why? Because you took that moment to already go through the emotion of being judged. So you don't have time for it anymore. You already did it. It's done. So if someone does look at you and frown, you already dealt with that emotion. You already prepared yourself. And if you go every day like that, you'll be ready. You'll be ready the next time and the next time. And eventually, you won't even have to prepare yourself anymore, because you get to a point where you don't care. Some of you will need a revelation, or will have one, in regards to your healing. This will help you actually heal. Someone will have an epiphany moment. Someone who don't like the shape of their nose. If you just do some of those little ideas I told you about, where you look at yourself, your reflection, and you study your reflection and you tell your reflection, you know, I don't like you because, and then you keep going. Because you keep telling yourself why you feel this way. And then you'll get to a point where you'll see that it's, at the end, it's either not that serious, or it's something that you can get through more easily than you think you can. But once you do that, I think you're going to look at yourself one day and say, you know what? This nose reminds me of, I don't know, Janet Jackson or something. Like, I don't know, just an example. I like this nose. I'm gonna learn to like this nose. Like this, and then you're gonna have that epiphany moment. Or it could even be a situation like you look at yourself one day and you say, you know what, I don't like my nose, but there's other things going on in the world that I could, stress over right now. There's more important things that I could focus on right now than my nose or whatever the situation may be. You're going to have an epiphany. It's going to probably come out of like left field. And if you haven't yet, it's definitely in your future. And there's some obsessiveness. Um, some of the feelings towards this is you making you feel like you're on a leash. Like there's only so much you can do. But I don't think that's the case. I see luck on your side. Right there. I see luck on your side. I see also even a male figure involved. Now, this could be one of two things. Either this male figure is part of the problem or part of the solution. I want to say he's part of the solution, but for some of you, he can be the reason why you don't like a certain thing about yourself. He may have said something about it. He may have brought attention to it. He may have told others about it. He may have complained. He may have somehow made you feel inadequate, embarrassed. But for others of you, this male can represent like a father figure, a best friend, a boyfriend, someone who tells you every day how beautiful you are, but you just don't listen. Someone who tells you all the time, like, I love that about you. How could you hate that? Like, this person could be, the one that pull you out of that self-hating funk. But yeah, I do see with these two, a lot of obsessiveness. And this even warns against it, of doing too much, of needing a balance. Okay, so with that, I would like to thank you for watching this video and for liking and subscribing. I do appreciate all the likes, the love, the views. If you have any comments, please feel free to share. I love listening and hearing and reading, and I love hearing from you guys. So, okay. Until next time.